Usually finals consist of hours of studying and worrying about the final test, but this is a little bit of a different story when it comes to the students in the Directing 2 class at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. Details to come.
UAFS volleyball is currently in off-season, but they still practice hard weekly. I visited with junior Larissa Correa about the upcoming season this fall.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday evening. I am Logan Parks, joined by the one and only Delaney Wilks, and we are here to tell you about the news coming your way. Delaney?
Tellitall gives us a look into the forecast, and Landon Burch is out on the field with a special report coming up later in the news hour. We have a lot of headlines to get to today. Let's send it back to Logan to take a look at the first story.
The theater department at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith has just what you need for your theater needs. Forget studying about finals because students from the Directing 2 class each got to pick a one-act play that they ended up putting up for a live audience. Student directors learned about the entire directing process, starting from publicity, holding auditions, and even how to make their own rehearsal schedule. I sat down with Paige Loki and Hunter Seegers to give us the inside scoop on the one-act showcase.
Hi, I'm Hunter Seegers. I'm involved in the one-act showcase here at UFAS. I'm playing Cabby Bob, who is an action figure. And the scene is a bit like an adult Toy Story, and it's a really interesting process because it's as much of a learning experience for the directors as it is for the actors.
For the majority of the students in Directing 2, this was their first time that they ever got to put on a show of this size.
So the Directing 2 class it started off pretty slow, fundamentals of the class, and then about halfway through we were kind of pushed off the deep end and given a show to direct. Of course we got to choose a show, but a lot of work, really fast, and pretty much the entire semester has been working up to these one acts, so we're all very proud of them. Well, I definitely had some vague interest in directing before I took the class, but I was still very hardcore into acting, preferred it anyways. Now I definitely think that I would love to direct a show in the future that's even bigger than this one. Gonna need a little more practice first, but I would absolutely love to get the chance to keep directing and keep working and improving my skill.
UAFS volleyball is currently in off-season, but they still practice hard weekly. I visited with junior Larissa Correa about the upcoming season this fall. And I'm here with UAFS volleyball setter Larissa. Larissa, what does it mean to you to be a setter?
The setter usually is typically one of the more leadership roles on the team, just because you are constantly just in communication with like every other person that's on the court. You're in communication with the passers, with the hitters. So I think that being a setter, you definitely have to be a leader and you have to just control and command the court, and so you always have to be like on top of things. And so I think being a setter, I think that's definitely what it means, is to be a leader. Last season, it was definitely an up and down type of roller coaster. We actually won our conference tournament, and so and that was after just a long season of some ups and downs. We won most of our games, we lost some that we shouldn't have, and so in the end we ended up actually winning our conference tournament, and so that meant we got to go into the NCAA tournament, which means that only the top 64 teams in the entire country, it's something that's where they go. And so that was a huge step for us. It was a very big accomplishment. And so I think after just a season of up and downs, we finally ended out on a high note.
Good. Mm-hmm. What would you say your goals are for this upcoming season?
Definitely. So one of the new things about this season is that we are actually going to a different conference. We're going to the Lone Star Conference now. And so that is probably going to be a more difficult conference. There's going to be a lot of good teams there. And so I think that's going to be just one of our main goals, is to just still stay consistent and still come out on top, even in a conference with other good schools. I think it's going to be a good challenge for us. It's going to be definitely good competition, and it's going to test us to see like how our true abilities are. So I think definitely that's going to be a challenge, and so going through that whole process is going to be a real just true test for us. So I mean, we can only hope and wait and see what happens.
Well, good luck, and thank you for talking with me today.
Thank you.
Let's send it out to Landon out in the field, where he's talking to students and faculty members about the stress of finals week.
inside of Breedlove Auditorium. We're going to talk to some students about their favorite thing about finals week.
I'm here on the University of Arkansas Fort Smith campus interviewing students for their finals week experience. Statistics show that the average college student only gets 4 hours of sleep or less a night during the finals week, as many tests, papers, and projects are all due in one 5-day stretch. The National College Health Assessment reports that nearly half of these surveyed felt overwhelmed and exhausted from their academic responsibilities during this time. The same report also concluded that anywhere between 1,100 to 1,400 students commit suicide a year due to the stress felt before this week. A third of this portion is during finals week. We hope to make the students here on campus aware of this and help them out. There are ways to cope with the madness that comes with the strain on finals week. One of the best things is learning time management skills. Organizing a schedule on paper can make things look neater and easier to accomplish when they are not cluttering the mind. Getting exercise and drinking lots of water is also a good way to help the body stay relaxed and less anxious during times of high stress. During a week like finals, it is also important to plan out study time and not cram for an exam in one night to keep from scoring poorly. Take time to revise or edit any long papers a few days before they are due. This can help tremendously. Also, one last thing. Do not forget to go out and get some sunshine, put everything down, take a break every once in a while. Your mind needs time to evaluate and process this information.
This evening is going to be nice and breezy with a chance of wind coming in from the north, and highs can reach all the way into the 90s. Teddy's going to tell us all about it coming up next.
So my cousin, he's coming in. He's from the north.
What do you mean? Like Fayetteville?
No, dummy. North.
Don't tell me he's from Bensonville.
Dummy. North.
Oh my God. He's from Canada.
Flabbit. He's a Yankee.
Are you ready to buy a new house? Are you looking for that big mansion of your dreams, or maybe the tiny home out in the middle of the woods? Look no further, Reamer Real Estate is just the place for you to go. We'll find you the perfect house in your price range. Call us today. Reamer Real Estate, where we really want your real estate. Alright, welcome back from the break. I'm Logan Parks of 2613 News. Our very own anchor Delaney Wilks sat down with a small business here in Fort Smith. She has some details for us.
MediSafe Home Care Pharmacy has been open since 1964 and currently has 3 locations, 1 in Charleston and 2 in Fort Smith. From blood sugar checks to mastectomy supply fittings in the durable medical equipment department to filling any prescriptions you may need at the pharmacy, MediSafe has it all. The patient's health care is the first priority at MediSafe. Their skilled staff are dedicated to making your visit quick and easy. Get your yearly flu shot here along with other vaccinations that are offered. I sat down with Keith Larkin to talk about his local businesses. Hi, I'm Delaney Wilks, and I'm here today with business owner Keith Larkin. Keith, how long have you worked in the pharmacy?
In pharmacy, I started when I was 15.
MediSafe, where healthcare's all about.
Oh no, sorry Delaney, looks like we're having some technical difficulties, but I've seen the rough cut of your story and I know how hard you worked on it, so thank you so much for sitting there with Keith, and we apologize to our viewers for this technical difficulty. Alright, thanks Delaney. How interesting that we have that cool of a small business here in Fort Smith helping out the community, so it's really exciting.
Yeah.
So Delaney, usually I love balls flying at my face, but this is kind of a different scenario. Let's throw it over to Teddy at the tennis courts with fast-paced balls flying right at him.
Hello and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Teddy Tellitall here at the Fort Smith Athletic Club. Watching as the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Lady Lions take on the University of the Ozarks Lady Eagles in this tennis match today. Stick around and stay tuned because today is set to be a good match. I'm here with Chloe Ruponner. She is also a member of the Lady Lions tennis team. So Chloe, what does it mean to be the number 6 for the UFIS?
For the number 6, it's pretty much you always have to be ready to play. You have to be ready to go out and fight, play long matches in case we're down and we need to tie it up, or play it really quickly. We just need to win really quickly.
So what inspired you to take on the sport of tennis?
My mom's teacher friend gave me a racket when I was in 2nd grade, and she told me that she thought that I would really enjoy it, and so I kind of just went from there. Played all throughout junior high and high school, played all over Texas pretty much.
Awesome. So what is the future outlook for the Lady Lions tennis team in the years to come?
We're hoping to get a couple new girls next year. We'll need 2 because we have 2 leaving, so hopefully we get some really good players and can make a conference next year.
Awesome. So one last question, and that is, who's your favorite pro tennis player?
I don't have one, but a lot of people like Serena Williams because of how confident she is and how she's always ready to go out and play.
All right. Thank you, and as always, go Lions. Thank you for joining us again this evening for Channel 2613. I'm Teddy Tellitall. Back to you in the studio.
Let's catch up with Landon one more time as he gives us some details about global warming.
Hello, this is Landon Burch with 2613 News, and we're here at this lovely parking lot at the lovely UAFS Fort Smith. We're here to talk to a few of these fine folks about global warming. So what's your opinion on fracking, sir? On drilling for oil for all you lovely folks. Somehow we gotta get all these kids to school, like with this fine thing here. What's your thoughts on all the diesel put in the atmosphere? Well, with all this deforestation, this oxygen's gonna be hard to replenish for about 7.5 billion people. What do you think about that, sir? Well, it's happening at a rather explosive rate. What are your thoughts? How should we replenish all this? Yeah, yes. Some more fine folk offering their opinion on this epidemic. There it is, folks, straight from the mouth of the people. You've heard it all about this global warming epidemic. This is Landon at 2016-13 News. Back to you, Logan and Delaney.
Are you having problems writing that paper? Are you tired of ripping off Wikipedia?
God, is that you?
No, it's Carl from Professional Plagiarism. Here at Professional Plagiarism, we write a paper for you so you don't have to do the work. We guarantee someone else's quality assignments, and you get the credit for it. But guess what? For only an additional $25.99, you get the Protection Plagiarism Policy, where we copyright your paper. Even if it's not your words, it is your paper. So we borrow it so you don't have to. Call us today here at Professional Plagiarism.
Welcome back from the break. If you're just joining us, my name is Delaney Wilks, and I'm joined by Logan Parks and our meteorologist, Teddy Tellitall. Teddy, how's the weather looking this evening?
So now let's take a look at our regional forecast for tomorrow. In Fayetteville, we're going to be hitting about 66 degrees, and in Fort Smith, we'll reach about 73 degrees. And down in Mena, we're going to experience a temperature of about 78 degrees. Now moving east into Russellville and Hot Springs, we're going to be pushing the 70s into the mid-80s. Down in Arkladelphia, we're going to be about 86 degrees. Over in Searcy and Little Rock, we're going to be experiencing an 81 and an 82 degree temperature. And all the way over in West Memphis, it's going to round out at about 83 degrees. In my favorite place of all, Stuttgart, it's going to be about 84 degrees tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the National Weather Radar. We've been tracking Hurricane Donald all week and just seeing when he's going to hit, and it's actually looking like he's going to hit on Saturday. So with Hurricane Donald crashing through the Florida Panhandle, we're going to expect to see the remnants go up through Alabama, Georgia, all the way up into Ohio, and then possibly make a hook and come back down into New York, Pennsylvania, and those areas. And now it's back to you in the studio, Logan.
And for the last story of the night, we sat down with the owners of Bookish, a new indie bookstore in downtown Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Hi, I'm Sarah Putman. And I'm Jennifer Battles. We opened in August
2018.
And it's been something that I've wanted to do for a while. Sarah and I were both educators. We taught together at Alma. It's something that wouldn't leave me. And a couple of years ago, the news that independent bookstores were actually on the rise, that it was now something that folks were interested in supporting. As we think about shopping locally, I just knew the time was right and talked about it out loud to Sarah, my dream, and she was like,
I thought that it would be easier if she had someone to help her.
yes.
So we just kind of...
She thought right.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine doing this all by yourself.
No, I'm crazy. I'm really glad you have the foresight to think that direction.
So anyway, I asked her if she wanted a partner, and she said sure.
Sure.
So you know what? We stopped teaching and opened a bookstore.
We have customers who have made a conscious choice to support us because they want us here in Fort Smith, and so rather than using the typical online bookseller, they'll order from us, even though we're not trying to match what the other is doing, and we can't. But ultimately, that's what it comes down to. If you want these small local businesses in your community, you have to purchase things from them. So we're very grateful for our customers who've made that a point.
A lot of times we have people come in that pick up the book they ordered, and they order their next book.
Turn around and order one more.
So,
yeah, a couple of customers who just keep that perpetual cycle going.
So we, a few people off the top of my head, we partner with UAFS, especially their creative writing department, and we've done quite a few with them. With the Applause magazine, we've worked with them, and Shannon McGill even recorded another podcast last week.
Yeah, about a week ago, Wednesday, a week ago. Yeah.
So we work with them. We work with Community School of the Arts. A lot of times their little actors will come dressed as characters and read for our kids at story time.
We've Montessori School and the Literacy Council.
First Lutheran, we did our first book fair through First Lutheran.
Yeah, really just any organization that wants to incorporate books or celebrate literature or writing, we're open to hearing what they might like to do. Come see us.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on 2613 News. My name is Logan Parks.
I'm Delaney Wilks.
And we're going to send you off to the rest of your Thursday evening programming. Have a wonderful evening.